Okay. Hello, my name is Camille Monsalino, and I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I have someone I would like to introduce you all to. This is Camille Monsalino, and she lives in St. Paul, Minnesota. She loves to read, write stories on her laptop, and play Legend of Zelda with her twin sister. I know what you're thinking. That's you. Correction, that was me. While I still love to read, write stories on my laptop, and play Legend of Zelda with my sister, there's a difference between the Camille in front of you and the one on the screen. The one on the screen isn't really motivated, extremely introverted, and spent her days waiting to become a scientist instead of doing herself. Not like there was much opportunity for marine science work in the Midwest. Until, of course, she heard about this semester school in Freeport, Maine through a presentation in her biology class. CSG was everything she ever wanted, so she did the smallest thing to start her adventure. This is where I take over. I gave the presenter my email, I applied, got accepted, and almost decided not to come here. I didn't believe I was the girl CSG was looking for. And I don't know what made me change my mind, but I decided to go on an adventure. I got on an airplane without my mom, dad, or sister. Just me and Anna Wienholz, my neighbor. It was hard to go through the security line, look back, and wave goodbye to my mom and sister who were in tears and smiles at the end of the line. After some chaos in New York, that I will spare you from, we landed in Portland, Maine. We were greeted by a girl named Jessie, and I began to start phase 2 of my transformation. I instantly acted like I do with some of my friends. Not my closer friends, because that would be terrifying, but friends. I tried not to be shy, and it was really hard for me since I was a very shy person. I arrived at the farmhouse, exhausted, still shaky from waking up nauseous, and overwhelmed by the reality that I was doing this. I was told to check in with Anna B. and Kate, and then I met Melissa, and I decided to keep this whole acting like myself thing going. It worked pretty well, I think. You may have to ask Melissa. I did the same thing when I met Caroline, the rest of the staff, and the rest of my classmates. CSG has literally changed my life. I'm no longer the girl that arrived here. Camille was a follower, comfortable with being the dark star to someone else's supernova, which is an analogy I love from my favorite author. I can be a leader, and I'm not afraid to raise my voice at 14 teenage girls to be quiet so we can eat dinner, conduct a vote to see who wants to do a small hike, or run a closing circle. I noticed I was not the crappy leader I thought I was, after my second time being leader of the day, or LOD. The first time I was scared and anxious, and the second time I was a little bit more comfortable. By comfortable, I mean thinking to myself, hey, you did that once and didn't die. The third time was probably my best performance as leader of the day, and that boosted my confidence. I think that was the first time I was leader of the day. Being open with my feelings and who I really am has always been a struggle for me. Before Expedition, I told everyone something I've had a hard time talking about in the past, and the reaction I received was beyond perfect. It was nothing but love and support, and I realized I could be more open after that. I realized that if I have the true friends like I do here, and the ones I have in Minnesota, I can be as open as I want. Challenge was also something I was uncomfortable with. Before CSG, the biggest challenge I ever had was joining high school gymnastics. And that was quickly replaced by the backpacking section of Coastal Expedition. I've hiked before, but not for 5 miles in one day. And the feeling of getting to the campsite was so incredible. And I've never been more proud of myself or my sisters. We were all exhausted and had hot spots everywhere, but we had made it. I am now more willing to take a risk and go on a challenge since that trip. Since CSG, I discovered that I can be a leader, open, and accept challenge. But wait, there's more. I learned how to love myself and understand that I am not the flawed mess I think I am. I have flaws like tending to raise my voice too much, put myself down, and not always thinking before I speak. But I also have strengths like being productive, putting in a lot of effort, and laughing at my own mistakes. I have learned to respect my flaws and be proud of my strengths, which have led to a rise in self-esteem, something that used to be tragically low. I learned all of this from my sisters, and they bring out the girl who looks in a mirror and doesn't see a million imperfections. I can honestly say that I haven't known myself better, and even if I still have a lot to learn, I know myself a little bit more thanks to CSG and my sisters. What this means for me now and for my future is that more people, friends, family, future teachers and professors, bosses and peers can know exactly who I am and make friends with someone who is me and not who will become me. There have been many experiences I've had here that have shaped who I am now. The biggest one was Coastal Expedition. That trip pushed me to new levels and challenged me so much, and the other was marine science presentations. I have never done anything like that before. I created my own experiment with Eliza and Priya, and we extracted DNA from phytoplankton. We also wrote research papers on our data, and it didn't hit me until I was turning in my final paper that what I did was write a scientific paper. It was frustrating at times, but it was totally worth it. I've wanted to be a scientist ever since I can remember, and a marine biologist since I was 9 years old. So to actually do my own marine scientific research was so unbelievable. Since that assignment, I am more confident that I will be taking on a marine science career. Just maybe not one that includes counting phytoplankton. Then there were the simpler res life things. The photo scavenger hunt, going to my first concert, Andy Grammer, making Thanksgiving dinner together, the 5K, and even going to see Mockingjay Part 2 that made me feel so happy and comfortable with everyone. I was so pleased and happy after every one of these events, even if I was an emotional sobbing mess in the theater at the end of Mockingjay. Things like the marine science presentations, expedition, and the 5K all made me feel very proud and powerful. I remember talking to Emily on the way home from marine science presentations, and we said that we had camped for 8 days, conducted our own science experiments, ran a 5K, and now just gave a scientific presentation on our own experiments. And if we can do all that, there is nothing semester 12 can't do. All of these experiences have led up to the moment. The moment is the time I became my truest self. And for me, I'm going to have to say that the moment was right after my return from Coastal Expedition. I was that better version of myself I came here to find. I was empowered by what my sisters and I had just done, and attempting a nap on Cam's shoulder while being unable to breathe through half my nose had allowed for some reflection. It was a pretty amazing feeling to return home, get a shower, and realize I was not quite the same. And CSG is so responsible for that moment. CSG has exposed me to new experiences, pushed me to do them, and then encouraged pride in myself and my sisters upon accomplishment. But I think the true cause for the moment is the girls in front of me. They inspire me every day, push me to new levels every day, and make me laugh every day. And I'm so grateful I got lucky enough to have met, lived with, and experienced this with all of them. And the way we grew together as a group was so beautiful to watch and experience. Because I have found my truest self through the moments, I believe I can now do my part on creating change in the world. As you can see, there are many injustices I recognize in this world, and so I'll only talk about the one I feel the most passionate about. All people are held to impossible standards, and it is so easy to let down society by not fitting into a heteronormal world. Basically, the expectation of all men and women is to marry the opposite gender, and if you don't, then what are you doing? That's not normal. You need to lose rights like not be allowed to marry, lose your job in 29 states, and be bullied and stop it. No. That is not okay, and there is not a single valid excuse to oppressing anyone who does not fit into this terrified society. We are making steps forward on this topic, like the legalization of gay marriage and the and It Gets Better campaign, which is nice. But if someone who is not heterosexual or cisgender can lose their job because of their identity in 29 out of 50 states, there is still a problem. Humanity wants peace, and it needs peace. Peace and acceptance. It needs everyone to put down their weapons, real and figurative, and shake hands with each other. And it needs us to sort out our disagreements and have some fierce conversations. If any nation needs assistance, go talk to Kate. The world needs the people who want to turn the tide on what's killing the world, to act and motivate others to act. And with a peaceful and active humanity, we can achieve a healthier world. Now for the hope. I'm not sure how my sisters and I can create change in the world that the world needs. But because of CSG, we now have the skills and courage to find out how to do it. I can also be an advocate and motivator for the girls like Camille who are sitting by their laptops waiting for the world to change. I can encourage them that the world is not as scary as they think and that their voices can be heard. I have the strengths I need to change the world thanks to CSG and my sisters. So how do I leverage those strengths and passions to create change in the world? I will use my newfound bravery to use my voice and speak my beliefs. My hope in the world that I will be heard and respected. And the confidence I have in semester 12 to know that we will make a difference despite any odds. And I couldn't really leave here without thanking everyone who made this experience as unforgettable as it was. Jessie, for being a great check-in girl, and for being so punny. Rachel, for leading me on my best run ever and talking about books with me. Lexi, for laughing at all your nicknames with us and being so easy and fun to talk to. Anna B, for being an incredible leader of 15 crazy teenage girls and helping everyone with anything. Carrie, for being an awesome science teacher. And Kate, for being one of the most empowering teachers I've ever had. Becca, for being my best history teacher ever and allowing me to dive back into creative writing. Hannah, for being the reason I am now friendly with math. Annie, for being my best Spanish teacher ever. John, for being so fun and open for a casual conversation. Susie, for your section of our tour on the second day and making me laugh. Abby, for helping with the alumni panel. Jen, for everything you do. And Gail, for being the goddess you are. And of course for Pam, for your support that has meant so much on so many occasions. And now for my sisters. Anna, for making me smile and laugh every day, and I can't believe I've lived 4 houses away from you for 15 years and haven't known you like this until now. Brianna, for never failing to make me smile and brighten my day. Melissa, for being the first student I met here and making me happy ever since. Kashmir, for being the best bunk buddy I could have ever asked for, and for your patience with my midnight noises. Sophia, for being the surprise close friend I made here and always catching me when I jump on you. Caroline, for talking about Eleanor and Park with me and being a great rant receiver. Emily, for always being available to talk about Percy Jackson and fight about which Magnus is better. Magnus Chase or Magnus Bane? It's Magnus Bane. Emma, for making me smile and happy without even trying to, and for Larry, which includes Brianna as well. Katie, for talking about Saturday Night Live with me and sharing all of your incredible stories. Becca, for being so supportive of anything and anyone, no matter what. Kiara, for talking about the Mortal Instruments with me and making me pee my pants laughing while preparing a math presentation. Priya, for all your weird faces, gurgling noises, and ridiculous voices. Eliza, for being my camping buddy 3 out of 3 times. Cam, for always letting me borrow your Uggs and how considerate you are. Off on our next adventure, semester 12. The odds are definitely in our favor.